Hello everyone and welcome to this week's 10-minute miracle practice. We're going to get straight to it this morning with an energizing morning flow. This is probably a lot closer to my own practice, slightly more dynamic, certainly gets the energy up in the morning. So, to begin, we're going to take a comfortable standing position at the top of the mat. I would encourage you to take a moment to establish Tadasana or mountain pose. That can be either with the feet together or a comfortable distance around hip width apart. We're going to take a moment to ground our feet into the mat, establishing the four corners of the feet. Activating the legs so that they gently hug the thigh muscles onto the femur bone. The spine is nice and straight, shoulders are aligned with the hips if we can, shoulder blades gently down the back with shoulders moving away from the ears. And the head sits comfortably on the neck. From here we're going to go straight into some sun salutations. Inhale. If there's no issues with the neck, feel free to look up. Exhale to fold if we need to, taking a generous bend in the knees to come all the way down to make contact with the mat. Inhale to lengthen the spine from the root to the crown of the head, perhaps coming up onto fingertips to ride that inhale. Exhale, step or jump back into high plank, taking a moment here to clarify the high plank. Exhaling to lower, perhaps we take our knees down to lower, either to a chaturanga position just off the mat or all the way down. Perhaps in this first one you prefer to come all the way down. Palms are planted down under the shoulders as we inhale to get some extension into the spine there. Extension on the inhale. Exhale, we're going to tuck those toes and come into a downward facing dog, finding comfortable distance that we need. Perhaps this first downward dog we've got knees nice and bent. Perhaps we want it to be a little bit more dynamic, taking those movements we need to find the position that we're comfortable with to start with. It'll take a while for the backs of the legs to open, those hamstrings to feel like they want to lengthen a little bit, to allow us into a comfortable downward dog. When you've taken those few movements, perhaps you can find some stillness. Just a few breaths here before stepping or jumping to the front of the mat. Inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. Again to lengthen into the spine. Perhaps those knees are still bent. Exhale, fold. Again, knees can be bent. Inhale. Exhale, arms come down. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling, lengthening into the spine from the root to the crown. Exhale, I jumped back last time, so I'm just going to step back this time to show you. Step back into high plank. Perhaps we're on our knees to lower on the exhale. Inhale to come up. Perhaps we're coming up higher this time into an upward facing dog. Perhaps that doesn't feel like we're quite ready for that, or that works for us. Sphinx is another option. Tucking the toes. Exhaling back into downward facing dog. Again, shuffling with the distance, finding what works for you, taking any movements you need. Perhaps you like to pedal the feet, perhaps you like to raise the legs up. Choice is yours. I tend to appreciate the stillness, but each to their own. We can last few breaths in a comfortable position. Armpits opening, shoulders moving away from the ears. Bending those knees to step, walk or jump or walk this time. Taking a generous bend in the knees so that we still have contact of the hands on the mat. Inhale, lengthening into the spine.
Exhaling to fold. Perhaps we're noticing that those hamstrings are a little bit more amenable to opening now. Inhaling to come up. Last one like this. Go a little bit faster this time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale into downward facing dog. Reconnecting with that breath, perhaps it's sped up a little bit with the movement, with the heat of the sun salutations. Just check in, find it, try to smooth it out if you can. If we're jumping, hopping or walking to the front of the mat. We're just going to take a little bit of a variation on that. Not a full sun salutation, but similar to B in some ways. So we're going to stay down, but this time we're going to step the right knee back, planting it firmly in a high lunge. From here, you can see my torso's made contact with the top of the leg. I'm going to inhale to come up. Perhaps we want to take a little bit of an extension here, perhaps we don't. Any problems with the neck, just keep it neutral. Exhale to come back down. This time we're going to take a little bit of a twist. So we're going to draw the fingertips up the leg while the right hand stays rooted, the left arm is coming up, drawing us into a twist. Few breaths here. Exhaling to come back down. Perhaps this time we want to straighten the back leg. If not, just repeat the movement with the leg bent. And I'm going to come up into a high lunge. I've planted my back heel, but you're welcome to leave the heel off, or it can be a similar position to warrior. Exhale to come back down. And finally on this one, I'm going to straighten the front leg. And perhaps I've got a block here if I need it, or I can take my hand onto my shin. I'm going to draw into triangle pose. Remember, the leg can be bent, or we can be up here. We don't have to have the hand rooted on the floor. Find what works for you. Rotating from the pelvis and opening the front of the body all the way across the collarbones up to that side of the mat. Exhaling to release. Step that foot back. Clarify the high plank once more. Just take a second to find it. Use that exhale to firm the abdomen, hugging those muscles into the midline. Exhale to come down. I'm choosing chaturanga this time, but you might like knees down or to come all the way down. Inhaling to come up. And exhaling into downward facing dog. Once again, checking in with that breath. It will have sped up. It might feel a little bit raggedy. Smooth it out if you can. And anchor the awareness there. From here, we're going to step the other leg forwards to repeat the movement on the opposite side. So I had my left leg back last time, so this time left leg's going to come forward between my hands if I can, lowering the right knee on the exhale to inhale to come up into that high lunge. Perhaps on the next inhale, we want to invite more openness. Exhaling to come down. And we can either draw into the twist here with a bent leg, taking the right hand off the mat, straighten to come up into that warrior one again. Remember, it's absolutely fine if heels off the mat or we're still with knee down. Exhaling to come back down. Again, we can choose to do the twist here if we didn't already. And perhaps we want to straighten that leg to come up, this time into revolve triangle. Sorry, we're not in revolve triangle. Perhaps we're up here, perhaps it looks like this. Exhaling to come back down, framing the front foot, stepping back, exhaling. Again, perhaps knees are bent. Inhaling into upward facing dog. Last downward facing dog here. Finding that breath, slowing things down. Walking the hands back towards the feet to take a forwards fold, perhaps holding elbows. Folding forwards, finding Babanasana tabletop. Untucking those toes, taking the big toes and heels together, knees wide to sit back, taking any props that you need under your bottom, between the heels and the buttocks so you can find that contact. Coming into an extended child's pose now. Using the weight of the head to draw the forehead skin down. Signaling to the body that we're beginning to relax. Taking as long as you need here. Giving thanks for your practice. Perhaps you don't find extended child's pose particularly restful, in which case you may prefer to bring the knees together and take the arms behind. I might choose this time to set my intention for the day, reflect on my practice, before planting my hands and using my inhale to come up. And then finding a comfortable seated position. If I had a little bit of extra time, I'd probably choose to do Nadi Shodhana here. So Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing, is a lovely pranayama practice. I'll just do you a quick recap here in case you're following along and would like to try. It's typically practiced in Vishnu Mudra. So we close the index and middle fingers down into the palm, using both the thumb and ring finger to close off the right and left nostrils respectively. That's not essential, so you're welcome to close off the nostrils in any way you wish. So we can take a moment to find our breath, using the ring finger to close the left nostril, exhaling completely through the right. Exhale, 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 before closing the right nostril And breathing in through the left. Closing the left and breathing out through the right. Closing the right. Sorry, keeping the right open as we breathe in through the right. Now closing the right. Exhaling through the left. Inhaling through the left. Closing the left and exhaling through the right. Following along your own time. Inhaling through the right. Exhaling through the left. Inhaling through the left. Exhaling through the right. Continuing in that way as long as feels comfortable. Before letting the practice go and preparing ourselves to journey off the mat and into our day. Thank you for joining me.